Okay, that's Paula Doyle from the Hindsight Directory.
Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast. It's Simon here.
It's Rachel here.
Please like, share and subscribe. Hello everyone, welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast. I'm here with Paula Doyle of Hindsight Directory. Is that right?
That's right.
Hello, Paula.
All right.
Did you just read that off her thing as well?
I did. No, I'm just looking at her boobs.
It's just like, right, I've got to get this right. That's why I don't do the introduction.
Right, okay, Paula, what we're going to do is we're going to go to sponsors quickly. It's not over yet, honestly. And then when we come back, you can tell us all about yourself. All right?
Okay.
Go to sponsors.
Today's sponsors are Dimodici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on dimodiciassociates.com.
Bond Carpentry, where precision meets creativity.
From bespoke cupboards to second fix carpentry, garden houses and even the Cherrywood Podcast sign. Call 07738 732 931.
Bond Carpentry, licensed to drill. This podcast has been brought to you by Snugdubs Camper Van Hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk. Need stunning video or photography for your big day or even your business? Cherrywood Production delivers award-winning results with a personal touch. From weddings to promotional content, we turn your vision into reality. Visit cherrywoodpro.com today. Your memories, our passion. And we're back. There we go. Good sponsors, weren't they?
Yeah,
what was your favourite? You're going to be a sponsor soon, aren't you? Hindsight's going to be on there. So tell us about Hindsight. Then, she's got one with her. I just noticed that.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing. It's a A5 full colour magazine that gets delivered to 30,000 homes in various areas. At the moment, we're doing Maidstone, Gravesend. We've just launched Medway, and we've just launched Bromley and Dartford.
Okay, so what's it show? Just different businesses and...
Yeah, so it's literally a directory of businesses that are local to area that have been vetted to make sure that, you know, they do what they say they're going to do when they're going to do it.
How do you vet them? Get them to do stuff for you for nothing and they say, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that'd be a fine thing.
Secret shopper type of thing.
Yeah. No, a lot of them I've actually used myself, but I get testimonials from them, from their customers, so that I can then contact their customers and say, look, you know, did they do a good job? You know, did they turn up on time? Did they leave your house in a decent state and that sort of thing? So, which I think the general public want to have something that is trusted.
Reliable, yeah.
You know, they need to feel that trust again from various other, you know, places that do advertising. Unfortunately, the vetting side of it seems to have gone by the by, and, you know, you're just hearing it constantly about people being ripped off, etc. So it's just another little thing just to try and
it's everywhere.
Help. Yeah.
Paula. Right, do you know what, Paula? I'm selling two things at the moment on Marketplace.
I wonder where you're going to go.
I'm selling two things on Marketplace, and the amount of fraudulent messages I get is unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
it does my head in.
I get loads every day. I get emails after emails, messages, and it's all people. And then, you know, you sort of, I do sort of look at them before I'd even like carry on reading and stuff. And you can see by the end of it, and I'm not the greatest grammatical person in speaking.
Where ChatGPT comes in.
So even, you know, sometimes with me, I look at it and I think, you know, this isn't even put together properly, so it can't be legit. And loads of people trying to get money out of you. And we would like to, you know, publicise your business and get you up Google rankings and everything. And I always remember a CEO girl saying to me, because I was like, oh, can you do my website? Can you get it up there as well? SEO, that's it. See what I mean? I'm not.
I'd say things like that.
My words always went the wrong way. And she said to me, she went, Paula, you can't, I could do stuff for you. She said, I could get you on the top page. She said, but at the end of the day, you're competing with the likes of your Googles and things like that are online. She said, and they've got thousands and thousands of pounds in their marketing budget. She said, so within 24 hours, you'll be back on page 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
She said, so it's not worth...
So all they're trying to get you is there for one day.
Yeah,
and then,
But
then
it's
they
a
tick
constant...
that box though, right?
Yeah.
They tick that box to say, yes, you would hop, and then that's it.
Yeah.
They don't care about anything else. Then it's a little bit more money again, and we'll do it again for you, we'll do it again, but there's no way of actually saying...
The first
you'll go
page,
to the top.
the first page is covered by sponsors now anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
drives me
yeah.
insane.
I mean, all down the side.
And do you ever trust the first sponsors? I always
no.
go to the legit ones after the sponsors. Do you?
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah.
So I literally go under the map, and then it's the first 3 there that I would ring. But it's a minefield out there, and I don't think with anything you would get 100% of, you know, you could trust them sort of thing. You know, it's just you'd always get one bad, you know, apple in the basket, as they were. But you've got to try and limit that down as much as you can, because the internet, unfortunately, is a minefield now.
It is.
But a lot of these people are inviting them into their home, right? So it's work that they need doing to the house, to the garden. Yeah. So they've got to have that trust to be able to let this person into their home. Yeah. Not necessarily leave them in there, but, you know, you've got to have that trust to open the door and say, yes, come on into my home, which is...
You've got to get a lot closer to your mic than that.
I'm sorry. But I just think, you know, especially with sort of like the older generation, you know, and if they've got children that, you know, let's face it, they, you know, kids these days, that, you know, I say kids, I am one of the kids at my age, you know, they live far away. They don't all live close like we used to, where, you know, mum used to be around the corner and your uncle used to be down the road. Yeah. And it's not like that anymore. So you've got a lot of elderly people there that haven't got their family right beside them, and they still want to feel independent, that they can still do it themselves. So they don't want to worry the kids. So they naturally just go for whatever they can get hold of. That's if someone says to them, oh, this bloke's good, they'll just go with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I suppose that's where your niche in the market is, really. It's because a lot of old people don't really like going on the internet and stuff like that. No. Some of them are brilliant, aren't they? Some of them are real tech savvy.
It's nice to have something. It's nice to have something actually in your hands. You know.
Yeah, with people that have been recommended, vetted, which is the main thing, right? So
I mean, I just feel for you know, the elderly people, because they've had that taken away from them, and at least this will give them a little bit of their independence still, to know if they ring these people, you know, and they can always ring me up. My everything's totally transparent in there. My telephone numbers, my home phone number, emails if they're, you know, on the internet at all. And they can always ring me. You know, I had a woman the other week ring me up and say, can you do all the conversion on my house? And I was like, well, actually,
I can't.
That's not quite what I do. And I gave her the people who could do it for her, you know. So, you know, but I'm quite happy to take their phone calls, you know. If they want to ring me and say, have you had this guy? Do you know what he's like? You know, if it was like Eddie from Target Damp, for instance, I could 100% go, call Eddie. Don't bother with anyone else. Just call Eddie, because Eddie knows what he's doing he's respectful. His prices are good. I wouldn't have any problem with it.
And I think if you've used them personally as well, you've got that personal connection. You can say, I've used them. I know how reliable they are. I know how good they are at their job and everything like that as well. So
yeah. I mean, and that's where I think the public need it. They need that reassurance that this person is kosher and this person is going to do what they say they're going to do.
You're like a little Google, really, aren't you?
Yeah. Just in my own
physical form Google.
My little area.
Doyle goal.
Yeah.
So have you ever had anyone that you've gone to vet and they've turned around to be real nasty pieces of work? Or
Have you ever rejected a vet?
I haven't rejected.
I don't mean a vet as in pets.
No, I haven't rejected a vet, but I have rejected 2 companies. One of them was when I lived down in Bexhill. It was a heating company. Parted ways. Because for me, if I'm treated not correctly, I can't have them in my book. No. It's as simple as that. I can't have them in the book. I was supposed to have had another company since I've been in Maidstone, and he wanted front page and all the rest of it. So I bent over backwards trying to figure out how I could do it. Martin, my husband, is South East Aerials. He's normally on the front page, but I've got him to come off the front page for this guy. And then I kept chasing the guy for his artwork, and then he said he didn't have any, so I got my designer involved, and I said, you two speak together. And then I was, ringing John Kimball up, my designer, and said, have you heard anything from him? And he's like, no, I haven't heard anything. Then I rang his mate up, and he said, he's gone on holiday to Dubai. I was going to print the next week.
Right.
And he was going to go in 3 editions. And that was worth, just under $2,000.
See, that stresses me out.
But
I know how stressful the design of it is and the layout of it is, and now you've got
the time
a whole
it's required
front
to
page
print
that
it.
you've now got to go, okay, we need to sort this out, we need to get someone in.
I mean, luckily, obviously, I had my husband, I could just slot him straight back in, but then you've lost the page.
We've got a husband waiting in the wings, and he's got a trade that's a dying trade, isn't it?
Yeah.
Installing TV aerials and satellite dishes. That's dying trades used to be a bloke whittling something in a craft fair, didn't it? But now they should put him in a craft fair, just putting up aerials and
satellites.
They told me that in 1982. I've done all right since then.
Unbelievable, really.
So these magazines come out weekly, monthly? How often do they come out?
They normally come out every 3 months, so we're quarterly, really. That's the aim with it. Obviously, we've only started it back up here in February, so we're just coming up to a year of being here. Back in Kent, I'm a Rochester girl, so I'm back where I should be, almost. Not quite, but almost. But yeah, so we'd ideally want, so there'd be 4 editions going out for Maidstone. We do 2 sets of postcodes there. So that goes from ME14, ME16, and then it's 17, 18, 19, 20. And then we've got Gravesend, where we've got 6 postcodes there that it goes to. And again, we want to be able to do that. So each household will get it twice a year. But for the advertisers, there would be 4 a year of each going out. And then we want to do the same with Medway, but because that is so massive, we're doing ME1 and 4 as the first edition, and then it'll be ME2 and 3 will be second edition, right the way through to Swell and possibly Sheppey.
Right. So how long have you been going for? So was Hindsight in Bexhill?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was. We wasn't. I suppose it was about. We're down there 8 years down in Bexhill.
It's lovely down there, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh God, that's a bit of a.
Yes, it's
on the way to Brighton, isn't it? Bexhill. Am I? No,
Hastings.
Hastings. That's what I meant. On the way
it's
to
the next
Hastings.
one on from Hastings. I'd rather be in Bexhill than Hastings, if I'm honest. But
Right.
yeah.
Sorry,
Heaven's Waiting Room.
Yeah.
Well, anything near the sea is, isn't it? Really. Bournemouth.
That's it. You can't get any further. You'd be in the drink. But
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, we went there because Martin's dad was poorly, so that's why we moved down.
So you from Bexhill?
No.
Oh right, okay.
London,
He just moved down that way, did he? Your dad moved down that way.
Yeah, my dad moved to be near my mum's family.
All right.
And then he got poorly, so we moved down there. We was only going to rent, first of all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
we
8 years later, you're still
Yeah.
there.
So then we thought, once Terry passed, then obviously we moved back and moved. Martin's mum, she literally lives 8 doors down from us in the same road.
Aww.
So there's a bungalow that come up. So we've got her literally down the road from us as well. Moved mum because my mum came and lived with us down in Bexhill, so that I could keep an eye on her at the same time as everybody else.
Right. She lives very close to Matt.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
very close. I don't know the road. Do you know Matt's road?
Maybe we shouldn't give it out either.
Well, mine's plastered everywhere, so I'm trying to drive. So yeah,
That lives around the corner from there.
yeah.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been going. Sorry, how long did you say you've been going for?
So we was down there for 8 years, and we've been back here for 3. So as I say, it's probably been going about 7, 8 years.
Right.
Like
Okay.
that, I suppose in real time. But obviously down there, I literally went from Winchelsea to Eastbourne.
Right.
So I went all the way across the coast.
Right. I see.
But
She is handy.
yeah.
Well,
But,
especially when she does the coast bit. I did it.
Yeah. but yeah, so it was completely different down there. I didn't produce as many. There
Right.
was only 4 a year.
Okay.
Whereas coming back here, there's such a lot of population, and trying to get as many. The same with the clients that I've got, to get them out to as many people as I can, because at the end of the day, any marketing is a numbers game. So it's getting you out to as many people as you can. Because if people don't know who you are or what you do or where you are, they're not going to ring you, are they? So it's trying to get them to expose their business to as many people.
How do you get people's feedback? To say yes, they've used me, or yes, you're
well,
help.
That's a minefield in itself.
You mean vendors?
When they've done the job,
the clients.
How do you know if the advertising has paid off for them? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I sent out feedback forms.
Right. Okay.
I had one returned. So they're not very good at that. No. And unfortunately, that's the name of the game, cause
especially trades.
They're too busy. They don't want to be doing all of that. But I belong to a B&I group up in Gravesend, and a lot of my clients are B&I members. So that again is another thing where they're vetted as well. So it's quite good, and I've got to stand up and look across the room to them every single week.
Yeah.
So if I get one whiff of anything that they're not doing as they should do, I'm going to tell the other 52 members that are in that group. So it's not in their best interest.
I'm not afraid to call people out if they've given a friend of mine a bad service.
Yeah. But they'll all stand up and they'll go, oh, thanks to Hindsight this week, I've got 2 jobs. The Wills lady, Wendy Bent, Protected Life, she stood up and she said, I've had 3 phone calls, 21st century carpet, 5 phone calls in a week. And it was just like, why don't you just put that on the feedback form? That would be really good.
We are talking to Nick Inge at iTrust as well, who has got a feedback app.
Right.
We are talking about, he's gone for mainly sports clubs. And he's actually in Miami signing one up as we speak. So he's going worldwide with it. But we have spoke to him, and I've spoke to a football club in South East London, and I've said, can I pay for this for you? And that gets Hindsight Directory splashed
What club?
there.
What club's that?
Trade Valley.
Oh, right, yeah.
They've just gone up into the European League.
Hopefully I can hear you. Do you want to come around the back?
No, you're right.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying about Nick, because that feedback, if we can get that, what we do is we buy that as a business for Hindsight, and then we pay a monthly fee, and I can then gift that to a football club, who then hopefully he will get more business from. But that would give Hindsight a feedback platform, and that also doesn't go directly to Google, so it goes directly to your business, so you can act on it straight away. You haven't got to wait for 5 bad Google reports to find out that there's straight away. You'll get a bad report on a Tuesday. You can have them out by the Thursday.
Right.
Oh, is it that quick of a turnaround if you need to take someone out? Just sort of.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
For me, obviously, it depends. If they've gone out in an edition that's been printed, then that's going to take 2 months.
To uncirculate.
Yeah, because it will go out to those postcodes for that 2 months. So then I can just take them out for the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, once it's gone to Royal Mail, there's not anything I can do about that. It's done, dusted, and it's off to Royal Mail. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think it'd be quite a good idea for like Martin's business as well. But I don't know how much of a feedback thing it would do for me, because they can't even be bothered to fill a form in, and they've only got to click a box on the computer and put yes, no, yes, 5, 4, whatever, and send it back. If they're not going to do that, are they really going to bother doing a feedback form? I don't know. I don't know is the question.
Because then even if you got it to the person, the customer who is using them, there's no way of you knowing in the whole thing who they've picked for them to then write to you to say, because everyone is very much, this world at the moment is very much negative, isn't it? Everyone loves a good complaint.
Yeah.
But
not happy to say a good...
any longer with you never been able to use a mic in your life. Right, there we go.
But then it keeps falling this side.
Yeah, but you'd fall after 100 goes. You'd still really. Well, I don't delete any of this. This is still going on. This bollocking is also going to be on the podcast.
I get it.
She gets it all the time. She just don't take any notice.
But yeah, this world is very good on giving complaints, but no one ever seems to give feedbacks or nice complaints. Everyone can take the time to make the complaint, but no one ever gives like a good feedback. So, and even if you give it, as I was saying, if you give it to the customer to say, when you've actually finished with the company, please give us the feedback so we can say, yes, they've used you. Yes, this is a good thing. You've got some business out of it. They still won't do it, will they?
But that's why they hire people to do their website, and that's why they hire, because that's not their thing. They just want to do the work, but they don't realise that the feedback is really important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that it will get to a stage, because obviously we're still early days with obviously being back here in Kent. I would eventually like it to be so that I can then be ringing people and saying, because even if there was like a bit of a booking system or something like that where they could contact me direct if they didn't want to actually contact the person. So you'd be able to sort of ring that person up afterwards once you know that they've had that job. Or if they give you the feedback and say, I've had this job at blah, blah. I mean, Callum Sawyer, Class Glass, he's brilliant at it because he will send me photographs of where he is, the job that he's done, and saying, thanks ever so much, you've earned me X amount of money today. And, he's absolutely brilliant at it. Does all these glass balconies, glass splashbacks in your house and all that sort of stuff. But he's bang on it. He sends me pictures of what he's done. So for me, it's like he's finishing the loop so that I know and I see actually in front of my face how good his work is.
Because that's the thing, with ours... Sorry, I shouldn't wait to...
No, you're all right.
With ours...
No point in getting close now. I've already upped the volume.
With ours, the first question on our quote form is, where did you hear about us? And so it's so much easier for us to then go, okay, this is working, this isn't. Do we really need that? Let's focus more on this because we seem to get more people from this site rather than this. So, and that is obviously harder for you to do when you have no sort of feedback.
Yeah, it's a saying, I only get it from when they stand up and go, I had a phone call today. I had a phone call, as I say, Wendy, the Protective Life, she straight away stood up and said, I've had 3 phone calls this week. 2 of them have literally done their wills with me, and I'm doing power of attorneys with another guy next week. You get the ones that are proactive and do that, where they ask, where did you get my name from? I've also introduced in the latest edition codes on the top.
Oh, right,
so
okay.
I'm trying to get the people that are in it to sort of say, like, when you're asking, where did you get to hear from us from, if they've got a code in the top, or if they're saying, it's a book that, because they do obviously advertising at other publications, which I firmly say to everybody, you get it out to as many as you can. I'm not here to say that any other publication is any different or worse than me or better than me or whatever, because there's enough businesses out there for everybody, so you don't have to do that sort of thing, I don't think. So they need to know whether it's come from one of the other publications or it's come from mine, or, it's come from Joe down the pub having a swift half, that sort of thing. So,
How are they then meant to realise that the business, they're spending money in the right avenue on marketing, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing, is, because these aren't cheap. And, when you're going into the print, I mean, I have mine delivered by Royal Mail, which are the dearest, but I can guarantee that that's going with everybody's mail. So I know that that's going through the door. And that's the difference. I can guarantee that mine's...
Don't want to see them in an alleyway, do you?
No, or chucked in some skip down the end of the road or something, So for me...
Some teenagers got them all there.
Did you used to deliver them yourself?
No.
Never?
No.
Okay.
I used to be a paper girl. And that was the worst thing. And it was once I went over to the ones where they used to come out weekly and you was doing thousands and you was climbing up 20 steps at every house.
Yeah.
By the time you'd done 3 streets, it was just like, I don't want to be doing this anymore.
And in the rain and the cold.
Yeah. So I know that there was very much a temptation for me to dump it in some skip somewhere. Not that I ever did because I was too frightened to be mum, but
we had someone on recently. She did it. She dumped it every other week.
Yeah.
It was very clever. Very clever.
Yeah, she had a very good mindset from the start, didn't she? A very business mindset.
Dumped it every other week.
Yeah.
I wonder what they get paid these days.
Yeah.
For a paper round?
Yeah.
It might be not. No,
I
you
don't
can't
know.
say paper boy now, can you?
Oh,
It
yeah,
has to be
sorry.
paper person.
I'm old school. What can I say? I'm old school.
But I remember doing one. I remember having a group of friends, and it was my boyfriend at the time. I think he had one, and he shared it with his friend down the road. And so if we went round their house on a Tuesday or something, we would go out and do this paper round with them. And I think there was about 8 of us doing it just to get one paper round done. It was exhausting.
Yeah,
it was
it's a
so.
lot.
We didn't see any of the money though.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Let's talk about past jobs. So one of them was a paper round. What have you done before you?
So have you got a marketing background then?
No.
All right. So what did you do when you leave school? When you left school 20 years ago, what did you do?
Oh, when I left school, I went and worked at Turner's, which was a factory. So my dad.
What do they make?
Loads of pre-packed food, so like your bird's eye, beef and gravy,
Oh, right. Okay.
brains, faggots, that sort of stuff.
Whereabouts was that?
Seven Oaks, I think. Seven Oaks,
Right.
Tunbridge Wells, somewhere down that way.
Yeah.
But my dad, when I obviously left school, it was, there weren't masses of jobs, so they brought out the YTS scheme. Well, that was booked for me to go to Reed Paper Mill in Elsford, or Larkfield, whatever you want to call it. But that weren't until the September, because my dad, old school, he was like, don't think you're staying home here. You've got to go and do something, you're not laying in bed all day and all that. So I went and joined on an agency. So you'd have to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, get on the minibus with all the rest of them and go down. And I lasted 2 days, well, actually 1.5. The first morning, they put me on the beef and gravy, and you had to pull this big metal thing down, and it turned all the metal edges round onto the cardboard. Right. Well, if you've ever done that for like continuous, my arm was killing me. So I ended up, I'd done something to my shoulder. That was the first morning. So I'd only done one half a day, and then had to go and sit in the canteen for the rest of the day while I had to wait for everybody else to finish their shift so that we could go back on the bus together.
Oh, my God.
And then the next morning they put me on the faggots line, which was hilarious. It was the most funniest thing. At the time, it was the most scariest thing, but it was the most funniest thing in my life, because there was a woman that was opposite me, and she was, a bit like me, a bit cool, blimey. And this manager had not long been made up, and he walked past and he was giving it the big I am thing, and she just lost it and just went, right, that's it. And as fast as I was trying to pick these trays of faggots up that was coming along this conveyor belt, she was grabbing the faggots out of it and lobbing these faggots at this manager. It was hilarious. It was like, at the OK Corral, she was like proper. He'd got his glasses off his face. He was smothered in fat. Oh, it was hilarious. So needless to say, the bells went and they shut the line down, and then we all got moved up to the canteen for the rest of the day. So that was my first experience to real work, if you like. So hats off to anybody that works in a factory, mate. I'll tell you.
To be in a packaging line, you've got to have something missing. You have. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it.
Yeah.
And if you're creative in any way, it's soul destroying.
Yeah.
It's soul destroying to do that.
Well, it was just more the shock of like how these people were acting, and it was hilarious. It was the funniest thing in my life. That really was funny.
I think it takes something like that for someone to snap, right?
Yeah. She must have just been, because you could see.
She'd been there for a while then.
Yeah.
She was just sick of him, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was funny.
So you were there. Where'd you go after that? Did you end up in the paper mill?
Yeah. Then I went to Reed International as YTS, and I worked in Kimberley Clark.
That's where I worked.
Yeah, I love Kimberley Clark. I was in the car fleet department. Well, I weren't there to start with.
So
I went round to all the
Larkfield?
departments. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I used to get off at New Ive train station every day.
See, I was Northfleet, but I copped all the Larkfield people in about 99, 2000 when Larkfield shut.
Yeah, I was well gone by then.
Yeah, was you?
Yeah, I had my first daughter was born in 88. So I was there sort of 87, 86, 95. But yeah, I started there and then I went around all the different departments. So I did a bit in the post room. There was, what was her name? SJP, who did all sort of like the sanitary stuff for all the kids. So they'd write in if, they wanted to know about periods and stuff like that. And she'd send out free packs of stuff for them and all that.
This podcast's taking a turn.
Yeah.
Right, carry on.
So yeah, and then ended up in the car fleet department, who then took me on after the YTS. So,
right.
And I was dealing with all the company cars and if they had any accidents, so dealing with the insurance companies and stuff like that.
How many times did an employee put petrol in a diesel and diesel in a petrol? It happens nearly every week, doesn't it?
Well, we was quite lucky, really. There was only about 2, I think, while I was there.
Right.
But then I think they was probably more frightened of Rodney, who was the guy that ran that side of it. Yeah. He'd been there for years, Rodney. He was lovely, old Rodders.
So like nowadays they've got like when you open the cap, you've got diesel written in it.
Yeah.
Did they have a picture of Rodney's face in it? I was scared. God, don't piss him off.
Rodney would say it how it is and would have called them whatever if they'd have come in and said like, this is what I've done, or rung up and said this is what I've done. Then he would be like, you whatever. He didn't mix his words, did Rodney, but he was lovely. He'd worked for, and then Barry, the boss, who took over, and Jude did all the airline flights for the sales reps as well. So I stood in for her. She was on holiday and did that. So that it was quite varied, really. So it was quite a nice job. And then I then got married and then had my first child. And then I had 3, and then in between, while I was having the children, I'd do things like Ann Summers, just to earn a few bob, because obviously my husband did shift work, so I could work that around his shifts. So that
was he Kimberley Clark as well?
He did do a stint at Kimberley Clark, but he hated it. He was on the toilet roll line, so watching the Lou Rose
I feel his pain.
Yeah. So he didn't stay there long, but he was a lorry driver and he was training to be a lorry driver. So once he got his ticket, then he just went off and worked on the lorries and then ended up at Thamesport.
Because a lot of these Ann Summers parties now don't really
She's back to the Ann Summers.
Going back to what you do,
yeah.
but like
they what?
They don't really exist now, do they? Because you
it's a bit like Tupperware, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember as a kid going to Tupperware parties with my mum.
I don't think I've ever been
the
to a
old round
Tupperware
lids. The lids that just had little,
Yeah.
Used to be playing with them, scratching my nails across them.
Yeah, I never did Tupperware. I did Ann Summers. I did Princess House, which was all China plates, dinner services, and that was.
There
really
wasn't
nice.
an Avon party, was there? It was just someone going round,
Avon
wasn't it?
just had the books.
Yeah,
didn't it?
but then they did go into the party bit for a little while, and now it's all online, isn't it?
Tell you what, there is Mary Kay. I hate Mary Kay.
It was Body Shop.
Mary Kay's like a makeup, isn't it? You ever heard of that?
I know.
Yeah.
As you can see,
I know many
I'm not
people.
the makeup-y sort
I
of
know
bird.
many people have become Mary Kay reps with the promise that they get a pink Mercedes and
Oh,
it's like
one of-
Arbonne and
it's like
stuff like
Arbonne,
that
yeah.
now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the new thing.
the broken promises of
Yeah.
those companies.
It's all the pyramid
I was just
schemes,
about to say
right?
it's a pyramid
Yeah.
job, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I did that, and then I worked at HFC Bank, which isn't no longer. When the kids was little, just being a clerk for their loan side of things, processing loan applications. What else have I done?
Not in a horrible way, but you've been around a bit, haven't you, in the job industry?
Rachel,
And then
you're still thinking of the Ann Summers
I've
stuff.
done a few things. I'll do anything if I've
can
got
earn a
to
bit.
earn a bit, then I've got to
Exactly,
earn
it's
it. You know,
life,
at
innit?
the end of the day, I've never been on the dole, never have done, never claimed it in my life.
No, good.
And I've
still
never had a
screaming right
benefit. So the only benefit I ever had was the child benefit. Other than that, even when I was on my own with the kids, I worked and I paid the bills. So I just think it's either born in you or not, isn't it? You know,
100%.
My dad would not have it, you know. He would get out and graft no matter how half dead you was. Even going to school, if I was half dead with a cold or whatever, it's like you're still going to school.
If they think that you're poorly, they'll send you home.
Exactly. That was what my mum used to work at the school as well as a cleaner. So she was just like, you know, I couldn't bunk off, Skype or nothing like that because
Where were you today?
The fear of my mum and dad was enough.
See, my granddad used to be halfway between our house and the school. So I used to ride to my granddad's house and then walk to school with my cousin who lived with my granddad. And I used to pretend I was ill when I got to my granddad's. So my dad would come and see him at lunchtime and I'd be there laying on the sofa. So he was all right when he left.
5 minutes down the road.
And then my granddad's going, what are you doing letting him go out of school like that?
Yeah. Giving him a right telling off.
He got a bollocking.
But I've always had a job though since I was like 15, and hopefully we're instilling that into our children as well. But yeah, it's just always if you want something, you go out and earn it.
You got to earn it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did the same with my kids, and they've all got decent jobs. They've all got their own houses. They're all driving nice cars, and I've never had police knocking on my door for any of them. Yeah. So you know, I've been very lucky with my kids, and you know, my kids have been really, really good. But I think it's just how you install that thought pattern in them. Yeah.
Definitely.
You know?
It's
if
not
you
just
want something, you've got to graph for it.
It's not just work either. Like, I've never touched drugs.
No.
And I don't know what my parents said to me. And I have been around people that have used, you know, in college and used a lot of weed and stuff. And I've just, even though I have a good laugh with my mates and all that, straight away as soon as I see it, I go, no, not for me. And I don't know what my parents said to me to stick that into my brain. I'm stupid enough as it is. I don't need to be on anything.
Yeah. I think me was like my brother used to do things like that. So, you know, I think me seeing him was probably enough. So I've never ever had any drugs ever, any, obviously apart from prescription drugs. But, you know, I'd have a fag or I'd have a drink, but that's...
My sisters never did anything like that. As far as I know, they didn't anyway. They're still annoying regardless.
Dark secret going out there.
Drinking, I could live, if they, you know, banned alcohol, I wouldn't really batter an eyelid too much. I have a drink, but I wouldn't be missing it. I don't know what it was.
So sugar is your addiction. Sugar. You're not addicted to drugs or alcohol. Sugar's the addiction.
And Summers.
That's smart in that is.
He's wearing. It's a shame he's not on camera. He's got Ann Summers gear on now.
Even though he do love a cake.
See, I can't.
Although we've been very good because we've been on the herbal life with the health hut since August, and. He
looks happy about it.
He's lost it. Yeah.
He's like that guy
He's done so well though, because where he had like the beer belly, you know, even though he wasn't really a drinker, but he'd love a cake.
Yeah.
It's a cake belly.
And now he hasn't got the beer belly.
No, he's gorgeous,
you know?
isn't he?
He is.
You're all right. You're punching now. What, punching you?
Oh, I wished.
You owned a couple of companies as well, which got you on the other side.
Yeah.
How did you do?
I went.
Hopefully, people can hear you, because otherwise, we're just staring into a corner of a room and going, yeah.
Yeah. No. I literally, when the kids had all grown up and it was like, right now I can go back to work, I literally did a load of CVs, walked around Midway City Estate, and handed in a CV to all the companies there.
Oh, right, yeah.
To get a clerical job. Got 3 interviews and 2 offers. And I ended up going with a sign company. And within a couple of weeks, he said, I don't want you to be doing the clerical side of it. He said, I want you on sales. And I was like, well, I've never done sales in my life. He was like, you've got it. You'll be brilliant at it. And he took me out a couple of times, and then that was it. I ended up a company car, driving
commission
around.
Based, is it?
No, it was a little bit of commission, but mostly basic. And then I got a percentage of, I think it was only something like 5% or something. So it wasn't massive. So because obviously I needed to have the basic pay to be quite good, and I went out and did that. And the next minute I was bringing in about 300 grand a year.
Brilliant.
And then I got made redundant from that, which was really weird because he finally made everybody, and he was a family-run company, and everybody else, even his mum, got made redundant in the end.
How hard must that be?
God.
And there was only
Lay
him
your mum off.
and his girlfriend that was running it in the end.
Right. Okay. Say no more.
Right. Okay.
So,
Say no more.
so yeah, so I then went to another sign company, and I obviously a lot of my customers came with me because they wanted to be dealing with me rather than
The company.
Yeah. And then I wanted obviously to progress to more money because I was on less money there. So then the guy who ran that said, well, how about if we start a workwear company together? So then that can be part of your, so it's still more hard work for me, but I didn't quite suss that at the time. So we opened up another unit a couple of doors along, which was P&C Workwear on Medway City Estate. And then my middle daughter came and worked with me there. And then I ended up leaving there and starting my own business up. And I created GSW, which was Gravesend Signs and Workwear.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which was with a silent partner who owned the shop in Peacock Street. And me and my daughter all went up there. Then I then had a designer come work with me. Well, I had two designers in the end. I had a group of external sign fitters that I used as well. I also subbed a lot of the work out.
So are these like shop front signs?
Yeah, so it was any sign. So like your big totem poles that you would, your monoliths as we call them, that are lit up. So like if you was outside a hospital, the blue and white thing, them sort of things we would make. We would use Spandex, which is a massive company, been going years. Brilliant product. Right the way through to traffic signs, health and safety, so your fire exits.
So he's in with the council and stuff?
Yeah, I did a lot for NHS.
Right.
I worked with the property side of the NHS, which was lovely guy there, Ray Chambers.
Oh, yeah, how is Ray? All right, is he? Sorry,
I haven't seen him for wind up. He used to live opposite me, actually. When we and Martin got together 12 years ago, we bought a house in Juniper and he was in the house opposite. And it was really funny. We sort of come out and it was like, all right.
I know you.
Yeah. What are you doing here? But yeah, so I had 59 clinics that I looked after for Ray. So that would be all the NHS clinics and doctor surgeries and that in Kent, even down to Sevenoaks, Tunbridge Hospital. So there was all of that sort of side of things. And then I did BAE Systems, did all their internal signs, did all the big tower signs. So that was quite a big thing with the cranes and stuff to be involved in that. But yeah, so then I sort of...
she has been a band, she's had a few jobs, hasn't she?
So that was the sales.
I better put some more memory in the camera.
With that sort of sales, that's the only real thing that I've got.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, as I say, I then got divorced, got with Martin, my husband now, and then we moved down to Bexhill. And then it was like, well, what do I do? Because I'd shut my company and it was like, well, I'd passed GSW over to a mate of mine, Brian, who's got Westbury Signs. So I knew that all my clients were looked after. And then it was like, well, what am I going to do? And Mark was like, well, what have you always wanted to do? And I said, well, I always wanted to be an hairdresser.
Oh, right.
So I then went and trained to be an hairdresser. I trained hairdresser, trained to do acrylic nails, all in the Bexley Academy, up in Bexley, obviously. And then I learned Reiki, healing.
Do you know Diane?
Diane with the sand balls.
Yes,
Yeah.
We had Diane on here once.
Oh, did you? It was the harmony
in sound.
Yeah.
I'm glad you started it off. I forgot the name. As soon as you said harmony, I remember. Yeah.
Hey,
Sorry, Diane.
So you speak of a company, I'm there, I'm thinking like, yep, do I? Yep, I know. Or I'll think and I'll go, I know the company, and then I'm trying to put the face to the company.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that for a while. Martin built me a studio in the garden. And then I got repetitive strain in the shoulder.
Oh, it's back to the old.
It's back to the thing again, isn't it? Yeah. So I think that put the mockers on that. So, and then it was like, now what do I do? And then we used to go to these network meetings, obviously B&I down there, for Martin's business, and then we come across the people and they were saying about, an elderly lady had been done over with 35 grand on a roof, when it was only like 500 quid's worth of work. So it was a bit like, And it was like, surely there is something that can be done to help these, vulnerable people. So hence why we started the Hindsight. So it was it was a double-edged thing, because it advertised Martin, because obviously no one in Bexhill or Hastings knew who Martin was or what he did. And he still does one day a week down there now, and I haven't had Hindsight out in Bexhill for 3 years.
Right.
And he still does a day a week.
Perfect.
So
2 calls today.
For Bexhill.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not going.
Not going today. No, I was going to say, you can't go anywhere today because I can't drive, I can't see.
How long do you reckon, you'll have to answer this for him, how long do you reckon he's got with the satellites and the aerials?
Well, 2028 in it, they turn it off.
3 years.
Yeah.
There are no more satellite engineers now.
Right.
You ring Sky today, got a problem with a dish, they say tough.
Internet.
Internet only.
Internet box now.
Everybody within dishes, which is 3.6 million in this country,
Blimey.
got to ring an independent. So realistically, once that word gets out,
Yeah. So I think he's going to be really busy probably for the next few years, once people realise that they're going to do this switch over, and with what they've bought and they've paid into now, and the systems they've got now is basically not worth a penny.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So Martin will be quite busy until, keep doing that until their boxes stop or whatever, and then you won't be able to get hold of the boxes and things like that. So then it will come to a halt at some point, which, as I said to Mark, he needs to be looking at something to do, because he says he's never going to retire because he don't want to retire.
Well, I sort of agree with you on that. If you retire, the amount of mates I've had retire and then gone after about 2 years. Yeah. One of them lasted 4 months.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I just think it's your body's way of saying,
it's like a shock to the system, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm always in retirement mode. So it won't be much of a shock to the system.
I don't think there'll be a retirement age. When I get there, I don't think there'll be a retirement age.
No, there probably won't.
I think you die at work, they wheel you off, chuck you somewhere.
You just got to make sure.
Just bring in the bag.
You just got to make sure you're doing something you love. Then it's not a work,
it's not a job,
yeah.
And that's what I find with this. I find in this is quite nice because it fits, where I had my brother who was disabled, and I was looking after him, and then obviously looking after my mum who's 94. Your time is like valuable, so you've got to really look at what you're doing with your time, as you well know. So this was quite good because I could fit it around taking hospital appointments and things like that. And it got Martin's name back out again once we'd moved back. So that's really why, I wanted to do it, because I wanted to do it for the community. I wanted to do it for my benefit as well, so that I didn't go absolutely mad. And then obviously Martin, he's now going to do Bromley and Dartford edition. So that I try and weed Martin into it as well.
It's all right, don't worry.
Because I think it'll be ideal for Mark as well. And then it will be something that we will do together in retirement years, if you like.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm looking at, which I'm planning at the moment, to franchise it. because obviously I can't do any more than I'm doing. I've only got 3 editions myself, so that's like 12 editions that I'm going to be doing just myself, and then Martin's going to have 4, and then probably increase them to 8 or whatever.
So do you do the actual designing, or do you get someone to do that side of it?
I've got a guy, John Kimball, down in Eastbourne, Kimball Design. He puts it all together for me. So the customers send me their adverts. I send it down to John. He makes it look all nice and pretty. He then sends it to the printers. Printers print it, give me a call. I send them the paperwork. They deliver it to Royal Mail. So it's been a while. Obviously, it took me the year to get that to a structure where it's like, right now, this is like a little hamster's wheel, so you know exactly what everyone's doing. So once it goes to John and he sends it back to me, makes it all look pretty, I send it out to the customers and go, if there's anything wrong with it, please tell me by 5 p.m. today. And I think they've had one person come back and say, I've given you the wrong phone number. But other than that...
There also is a chance for the trade to people that are advertising in it. Once a new book comes out, so maybe when the Bromley book comes out, there might be people in Maidstone and Gravesend and Medway that want to work in that area.
Right, okay.
So they'll advertise in that area to get their name in. Obviously,
so you don't have to...
Because people don't know that if someone in Bromley is not going to ring someone in Maidstone for work.
But they might want to expand.
If you're willing to go.
And the other thing is you've already vetted them, so that's a little bit of effort gone.
So it's,
Would they, I don't even know why I'm asking this question, but would you give them a discount if there was on more than one book? So if they go book into 4 editions, then I've literally just been doing that. So I've got a presentation to do on Thursday, and that's one of the things in the presentation, that if they book in 4 editions, then they get discounted price, because that will save me time, because it's like, right, they can all be slotted in, all 4 of them, then move on to the next one, because I only have one person per category. So I'm not a believer of having 4 or 5 of the same trade or whatever. It's one person. It locks out all your competition. So you know that you are the only plumber, the only, bathroom person. And that adds value and all.
Yeah, I mean, like Melvin Potter from Potter's Interiors, he's been in every single edition since I started.
I love that she knows it.
Yeah.
She's like a encyclopedia.
Little Rolodex.
We come up against people that say about internet and leaflets even. But this is less than 12p a door.
It's 3p.
For that.
It's 3p a door.
No, that's less than 12.
It's 3p. It's 3p a door.
Wow.
Well, it's less than 3. It's 0.3.
Right. Wow. So I'm a vendor and I want to get into the magazine. How do I find you and all that business?
You can phone me.
Yeah.
Do you want my?
Yeah.
01622 664 202.
And have you got a web?
202 60. No,
do you want to do it again? It's written on.
I don't use that phone very often. Yeah, it's 664 202.
Do it clearly.
So it's 01622 664 202.
Okay, is there a website or an email?
There's a website, and
do you want to read that one in case you get it wrong?
www.hindsightdirectory.co.uk. Email is paula@hindsightdirectory.co.uk, and my mobile number is 07936 443 025.
Blimey, giving out a mobile.
I'm fully transparent, as I said from the day one.
You're fully purple, I know that.
Yeah,
I've been checking you out. Matching nail varnish, rings are even purple. Did you love purple before you gave Hindsight the purple look?
Yeah, it's the healing stone, amethyst.
I was going to say purple is very spiritual.
Yeah. Of course it is. I didn't even think of the healing bit. Right, we're going to do something new here, Paula. All right. Because we used to have a sign fall off the wall. I don't know if you knew about our sign falling off the wall, did you?
No.
Okay, we used to stick that sign over there on the wall
little thing.
with double-sided tape, and we used to say to our guests, how long do you think before it fell off the wall? And after a year, it's...
It's still here.
But we're giving that to the winner, who was 1 second out. So now, this time, we've got these 20 questions here, and you can pick 3 or 4 out and answer them. They may not be relevant. I've only just printed these out, and also the ink's probably wet. Take 3 for now, and if they're boring, we can always pull a couple of others.
Okay.
I don't even know what's
your long-winded answers already.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
If you had to survive a zombie apocalypse, Who would you want by your side?
Do you need TV aerials in that situation?
Probably not.
Well, this is a bit hard, really, because there would be a few people that I'd want by my side.
What's that say? One, or doesn't it say?
It
Does it say
says,
plural?
who would you want by
choose a
your
couple.
side?
We'll let you have
So for me, it would be my children, because I wouldn't want them.
How many children you got?
3.
No, you're only allowed 2 people.
Oh my God. How would I choose? And obviously it's the grandchildren as well. I've got 5 grandchildren.
Right.
So, I mean, I've got 3 children and Martin's got 2, and then we've got 5 grandchildren between us. So, yeah. I mean, my first instinct, the first thing that came into my mind was my mum.
Right, yeah. It's going to slow you down, ain't she?
Well, this is the thing. So
That's the sort of one you kick out and they start eating so you can get away.
But it would be quite good for chatting and what have you. I would obviously want my husband.
That's only because he's in the room.
I'm immediately thinking, I need.
I know I'm faster than him.
Yeah, because he's quite a quick thinker. So whereas I'm I'll ask after the event, think, I should have bloody said that. Or,
Quick, throw the zombies the directory.
Yeah. Whereas Mark, he'd be like, well, we could do this, we could do that, and we could make that out of this. And so
he's my kind of man.
He would be your Bear Grylls that you need to have with you that could just get you out of any predicament. So, yeah. So I think if it was one person, it'd have to be him.
Terrible question, that, isn't it? I don't even know why that's on there.
Especially since we've been watching The Walking Dead.
Oh, have you? I've never seen it.
Oh, my
Is it good?
God.
I've never seen it.
Well,
just watch one. One edition.
Because it's the same with the same with the same.
For about 8 seasons.
All exactly the same.
And you just keep thinking this one's going to be different.
It's not.
But you still watch it. That's the thing.
Next.
Right. If your pet could talk, what's the first thing they'd say about you?
Well, firstly, have
Do you
got
have
pets?
a pet? Yeah, you have a dog. I've met the dog.
Yeah, I've got Albert. The first thing they'd say about me.
She loves her purple.
Yeah, well, he'd probably go, she gives good cuddles. Because he's very...
You're a soft touch.
Yeah, but yeah.
See, we've got chickens. I wonder what they would say about us. God,
They keep feeding us leftovers.
It's like a waste disposal.
We feed our chickens chicken.
They love
chicken.
Oh, wow.
Do they?
They literally
Love
pick
chicken.
every bit of meat off
corn
their
or
bones.
stuff
Oh,
like
They
that.
have corn as well.
I'm actually dealing with the zombie.
Yeah. So I don't know what is making the eggs. Chicken.
Well, you have...
If you give them too much onion, you get oniony flavoured eggs.
Yeah, and garlic. Yeah. The only thing they're not allowed is chocolate. It's a bit like dogs. It will hurt them severely if you give them chocolate. But anything else, they'll demolish.
They demolish it.
So they have their seed and their corn and stuff. That's to give the egg a harder shell. Something to do with the hardness of the shell. And then the rest of it is
They
just
love
for them.
eggs. You break their own egg, they go mental for the egg.
So they eat their own cells,
they also
really.
eat the shell because that helps calcium and all that. Wow. Anyway, enough about us. What's the last?
I've never had chickens, but I've often thought I would like them, but I don't know whether I could deal with the sound.
I bought 8 chickens
I can't
once.
hear them here.
I bought 8 chickens once and I had the pen for a year, bought 8 more, and they lasted 12 hours.
Yep.
Fox decided to bite through and eat them.
But didn't touch it up to
That's the night. That's the
up
night.
to a year. And the kids by that point were like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. When they were first killed, we've had it happen a couple of times. When they were first killed, actually the first chicken we lost just killed over.
Yeah.
And that was devastating for us.
Yeah.
But then when a fox has them, that's horrific.
Because they
And then
play
the kids-
with them. Sometimes if they behead them and leave the body there,
they just kill them
they're
for fun.
playing with them. If they take the whole thing away, they
they
fed
needed it.
A breed of them, yeah. But yeah, if they've just
But
beheaded
now we're
them,
at the point
it's for
of
fun.
Fox has got chicken now. And the kids are going, oh, bloody hell, Fox got the chickens. That's it.
Yeah.
You sort of get immune to it.
See, I'd be heartbroken, me. I can't even watch anything. Well, Mark will tell you, I can't even watch a David Attenborough thing.
Oh, with the lizard and the snakes and everything.
Yeah. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't bear it. I can't bear seeing
A penguin getting attacked.
a lion
Well, yeah.
running along trying to get the back of a zebra and think, I just can't deal with it. So I'm the world's worst person.
I've actually seen the migration, where the zebras come down across the river and stuff like that. I've actually seen that. And you're in the jeeps and you hear people like, come on. And then you see like the crocodile crocodiles, or is it crocodiles or alligators? It must be crocodiles there.
It's alligators are America.
Yeah, so it's crocodiles, and you can see them coming up the river, and you're like, oh my God, and then you see the baby come down, and you think, oh my God, it's going to take the baby, and then he gets the baby, and you're literally standing there screaming at this thing, and then the baby gets out, and you're like, oh, thank God for that. But you hear like all the vans that are watching, like people going, no, run.
Because they wait there for days and days, and you were just lucky. You happened to be the day that one of them jumped in, and then they all went for it.
Yeah, so we actually saw it. And
see, I'll be beside myself. I can't watch anything like that. The adverts on the telly about cruelty to dogs and every time that goes on, I'm like, I'm going to be sick. I'm really, I've seen, even with my dogs that have died, I've got them in caskets in my house. He thinks I'm mental. I've got them on my windowsill.
He's on the right page. Right.
So
imagine if we had that for every chicken that we've had.
Oh my God.
Oh, I couldn't.
Honestly, it'd be like KFC.
Yeah. So it's like they're coming with me when I go.
Right, what's this one?
Oh God. Have you ever had a brush with death and what happened?
Oh, it's a good one. Let's get our teeth into this one.
I haven't myself, but I remember when I came down Bluebell Hill, I used to get a lift after a while with a friend of mine, a couple of doors up, who also worked in Kimberley-Clark. So she said she'd give me a lift to work every day. And we was coming down Bluebell Hill sort of, 7:30 in the morning. And as you're going down, there's a slip road that comes down, which was from the from the crematorium bit. And as it was coming down, I'm obviously in the passenger side. I've clocked it coming down false or not. And there was this bald bloke with his window open, and he was on fire in his car. And he was literally right beside me as we was going down. So bless him, he then...
He said, I've got a light.
Yeah. I've got a light for that. But yeah, so then he pushed his car basically into the side of the cliff sort of thing. Then we sort of came down Lower Bell, knocked up the landlady, who were very happy, said, can you get an ambulance? And then we had the police and everything come to see us at Kimberley-Clark. And they was asking, obviously, descriptions, what we saw, etc. And the guy had gone and filled up a petrol can and put it in the front passenger seat on the floor, lit a fag, was having a fag, which, my dad's done that many a time.
Yeah, but you usually put it in the boot, petrol, didn't you?
Yeah, but of course, he's gone like that with his fag, gone to throw it out the window. His window weren't open, so it's bounced back in and set him on fire. So, yeah.
Did he die?
Oh my God.
No, he survived, but the bald bloke,
did he have hair?
who was, I thought, did have hair.
Oh, so it was singed off.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh
So that's probably the nearest I've ever come to actually being there or seeing something that dramatic.
Oh God.
I've seen a kid be hit before in a car.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, in London. It wasn't as bad as it sounds, but he went up in the air and then he landed on the ground and then he just started running around. Clearly he broke his ankle and then he just cuddled passers-by. But that affected me.
Yeah.
Big time. He was like a teen, young teen, 12, something like that. And he was cuddling his friends and they were obviously in shock. He just needed reassuring, do you know what I mean? But it'd been knocked up in the air.
Took me a lot of years to get over that. Yeah. And even now, when I drive down Bluebell Hill, I still look.
Yeah.
I still automatically look.
Because
every
Bluebell
time.
Hill's got this whole spiritual nature about it, isn't it? They've always said there's ghosts and stuff down there.
Yeah,
from
especially
whenever
a lady in there at the bottom. I've never seen her and I've lived there all my life.
Yeah, I do have another story like that. So Kimberley-Clark in Northfleet, they have a jetty. I think that's why why Kimberley-Clark chose Northfleet over Larkfield, because they had a deep water jetty. They could get all the pulp in easily. Right, so that's still there.
It's pumping the water in, isn't it?
Yeah, Kimberley-Clark's still there. And they've got a little beach there between Kimberley-Clark and what was Blue Circle Cement. There's a tiny little beach.
Is that where everyone went in COVID when they went walking to the beach?
No, you can't. You can get to it, but it's not worth getting to, right?
Yeah.
But it just, you've got the jetties and everything, but then there's this tiny little beach. I would say this beach is 50 metres long at the most, right? And I used to say, I was the mechanical engineer there, and I used to say to the electrical engineer, there's going to be a body wash up there one day. I'd say that to him. I said, it's just perfect for something to wash up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Bit of
anyway,
era.
a couple of years passed, he went on holiday. I get a call. There's a body there.
Oh.
Yeah, so we've had to look on the cameras and we see this old boy walk towards. We've got cameras of him walking there and he must have slipped in and died. So
Not a person that works for you.
no one that works there, just because it's public sort of beach. You just don't really need to go and see it. It's not great. And yeah, so the guys working within Kimberley-Clark on the docks were like, we think it's a mannequin. I was like, no, it's not a mannequin. It's someone died. Do you know what I mean? It's just puffed up sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they still have to bring the ambulance and the fire, and they still have to
do
breathalyse and pronounce.
Breathalyse, resus.
Breathalyse. Yeah, are you pissed, mate? So resus and, pronounce them dead, right? But Kimberley-Clark, well, most companies do this. When someone leaves, they give an aerial shot of the site, and everyone signs the frame around the edge.
All right.
And I know for a fact someone has got an aerial shot, and in the bottom corner is the fire engine, the ambulance, and the dead body with them trying to.
Oh Jesus!
Why wouldn't
because they didn't realise they used the police copter shot.
Yeah.
So they've got a signed thank you for working with Kimberley-Clark photo
with a corpse on it.
With a corpse in it.
Nice.
That's nice.
I wonder whether they've spotted it though.
Yeah.
Do type on the top, people are dying to work.
Yeah. So if any of you who used to work for Kimberley,
that it comes up with.
Any of you who used to work at Kimberley-Clark, have a look at the bottom right hand corner of your photo.
Yeah, just to make sure.
If there's an ambulance
never
there.
got anything like that when I went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think unless you want to say anything else about your company, I think
We're done.
Dived into your company quite nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy?
Yep.
Do you want to answer another question, or you had enough?
Can do. If you want.
Let's do one more. I'll pick one for you. I don't know what it is.
Did you ever used to do Anne Summers parties?
Yeah. What was the best vibrator you used to sell? Yeah. That was the rabbit pie. If anyone's out there that's, just wondering.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, God. What's the most awkward moment you've ever had in public?
You mean apart from this?
Oh, there's been a few. Because Martin's, he never calls me Paul, he calls me Bridget, after Bridget Jones.
Oh, right,
because when he met me, I was on the fags and I was drinking wine.
Big pants,
yeah. Still have the big pants. Goes with the big girl. Yeah. I've actually got smaller pants this time because of the amount of weight I've lost. But yeah, when we first got together, and I still do it now, I get my words around the wrong way. And if there's any accident proneness to happen, it's me that does it. So you're probably the best one to ask that question.
You're very safe on a night out. People see her on a night out and think, that's it, I'm safe now because
she's good at herself.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been on holiday. We went to Tunisia.
Loved Tunisia.
Yeah, so did we. And then the beach that we was on was where they did the shooting.
We went the year before the shooting.
Yeah, we were literally, I think it was about 8 months before. I don't think it was.
So we went to the same
as well.
Am I right in thinking Hammond or something like that? Hammond.
God, that was, it must have been over.
We went to the same bit of Tunisia as you because we think it was a beach just down from where we were.
Yeah. And I couldn't understand how that happened.
Did you go to that Colosseum bit in Tunisia? There was a Colosseum there. It blew us away. It was slightly scaled. I think it's 2/3 of the Roman Colosseum, which I love. And we were blown away by how amazing it was.
It was really intense.
Went on a tour for the day. Yeah. The only problem I had with Tunisia is the roads just full of rubbish, aren't they?
Well, I think everything is outside, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's not well, it was our first holiday together, and when we've got there, and then you have to go through them toll booths, and there's like this bloke being kicked up the backside by one of these coppers, like walking across, and he was proper booting him, and I was like looking at him thinking, where have you brought me? So the following year the next, I don't know, about 6 months later, wasn't it? Something like that. There was the shooting. Bit
you on the arse.
Yeah.
Straight into Bridget Jones' pants.
Yeah. So that was another thing, and I had to pretend to be a woman, some mother or something, on this like camp that they took us to on these.
You had to pretend camels. To be a woman.
Yeah, an old woman, and that, like, as if I was an acting thing.
Oh God,
that was a bit strange.
Didn't they stick some stuff on us?
No, they do it to protect you when you go out on the camels. You have to have all your stuff.
Oh, we went to Sahara, didn't we, when we were there?
Oh,
yeah.
we didn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, we probably did go across there because it was for ages. We only thought we was going around the block.
You're on a camel?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a similar thing, and you're in the Sahara.
Yeah.
My backside, I didn't know what to do with it by the time I got off. And then knowing to get back on it to come back home again.
How old was our daughter? So we went when I was 40, so 10 years ago. So she was 3 or 4, our daughter, and she lost a shoe in the Sahara Desert. And then we got back to the hotel. I was like, we just have to buy another shoe. This geezer turns up, found a shoe here.
It's like Cinderella. He's got it on a pillow going, I found a shoe. We were like, oh my God, thank
In the Sahara Desert.
That's what I mean. See, it was a value to them, isn't it, really? So they know that it's a value.
I was on the camel behind, and I got... we literally thought we were going to go around sort of a football pitch twice. That was all you could see. But we didn't. We went an hour and a half.
Right.
Into the desert.
And
then an hour and a half. When I got on the camel, my back was in bits and I was hating it. When I got off the camel, I was right as rain.
Yeah.
It
shook you.
Yeah, it was that far.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the following year, we went to France and they had the big floods and the beheading in
we turned
Paris.
Around, we turned around in the church.
Cool, remind us not to go on holiday with these two.
We turned around in the church, and then when we got to the thing for the evening, it was all on the news. The vicar of that church or whatever he was had his head cut. We turned around in the car park that day.
Gee.
Yeah, so that was a bit weird.
Wasn't us.
Where were you in 2001? You weren't in New York or anything like that,
No,
were you?
No. Then where did we go after that? On Mexico, we were laying on the beach and we watched the hurricane coming across and annihilating America. We were sitting on the beach just watching it because it was like, the wind's picked up.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about Mexico, the wind picks up, you get your stuff and you get off the beach because it's going to torrential downpour.
Where was you? Cancun, Playa Castle area. Yeah, I've done that as well.
Yes, we were just literally laying there watching it going across because we was oblivious. We hadn't been looking at what was going on or whatever. So so that was when we was in Mexico, and then we had an earthquake.
God.
While we was there, but there was like a couple of people that worked there. It was their families was in trouble with that, but it didn't affect us. But it's always been something that's happened there, but not really affected us. But there's something that's happened that's around other people. Jamaica's been all right, though, isn't it? We've been to Jamaica twice and nothing's happened there. Touch wood. Yeah. Not that we know of, anyway.
Going this year, that's what I want to know. To avoid it.
Right, our final question for you is we always ask someone if they want a song added to our Cherrywood playlist.
So every
Got
guest
a song
that comes
like
on,
your first dance or something
everyone
like
that comes on the podcast will say to them, pick a song, and then it goes into our Cherrywood podcast playlist.
What would be our wedding song, which is...
Nice songs with hindsight in them.
Smack my bitch up, is it?
Nah, At Last.
At last.
Yeah.
Okay,
No
put that on. No one's put that one on. Add that one. Brilliant. So do you want to say again how they can find you? And then we'll wrap up.
Yep, so you can either call me on 01622 664 202 or email me at paula@hindsightdirectory.co.uk, or you can find me on the website www.hindsightdirectory.co.uk.
There's 3 W's to that. She said 2 W's twice now. Just thought I'd let you know.
www. Yeah, see. Always www.
Just leave the W's out. No one does the W's anymore.
hindsightdirectory.co.uk. Or my mobile is 07936 443 025.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Enjoyed the chat. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
There you go. How was that? All right. Club Awesome, for autistic children and their families, a place where everyone belongs and fun knows no age limit.